Hey everybody's, my name is Majestic. We're going to try to do something new today. We're going to do something we like to call Majestic News, and all that is just us doing a little recap of what's happening in the world this past week. Um, I guess let's get started with the first thing, and that's the big shocker with Subway and Jared actually being rated for child pornography. Um, who would have thought? It's usually the nicest, quietest people who are the worst people in the world, as Bill Cosby. Um, it's just we would have never known that someone like Jared, who's been working for like a wholesome company like Subway, would have child pornography in his house, and like he has kids, he has a wife. It just doesn't seem like he doesn't fit the description of someone who would have that. Then again, he was overweight for a very long time, and I don't know if that means that he has some kind of like, um, if he's just not, what's the word I want to look for? It's just that maybe he's just not self-aware of himself, and like maybe he had some difficulties with his overweightness or being overweight, and he didn't feel really good about himself. And even after the weight loss, just because you feel better or look better on the outside doesn't mean you look better on the inside. Um, so that's a crazy thing. Subway dropped him. Um, they're investigating. There was a report that said a journalist would go out with them, and they would go out to schools, I guess, to talk. And he would look at middle schoolers and say that middle schooler is hot, and I'm like, I don't know why he would actually say that, but it is Jared. It's just a shocker that we have this week. Something else that happened in the world: Facebook's actually looking at creating a music platform. I You know, like how you have like so many options, you just don't know which one to pick. I feel like that's going to happen with this thing. So Facebook is going to take on Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. And I think Tidal's, they're on their like what, third CEO, so I think they're done. It's just like I don't know what Facebook can offer that Spotify and maybe Apple Music already has. And I know they're like competing with each other, but like we want one platform that we can use. We don't need 50,000 ways of streaming music. I think we're all just gonna go for the cheaper one anyway. I mean, that's just my opinion. I see like Tidal having their super hi-fi music, and I don't see me paying $15 for hi-fi music. Um, I think they have a family version too that's way higher than Apple Music's price. So like I don't see how Tidal can compete with Spotify and Apple right now. The one I actually use is Google Play, and I don't even think they want to be in the same bracket as these guys. I don't think they want to compete with it. I mean, Google's doing so much more with their search engine that they don't even need to make a streaming site, but they still do. And I mean, that's why I use it. It's the same price, $9.99. I don't want to make this a unsolicited like review of Google Play, but that's the one of choice, and that's the one you don't really hear about all the time. You hear Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, and then you even hear about Pandora, and I don't know what they're doing. They're probably just going to stick with the whole radio thing, but most of these platforms like Spotify and Apple Music already bring you radio, and even Google Play has radio now, so they're probably in some big trouble. Something else that happened, if you follow OG Mako, or OG Mako, I'm not really sure what the kid's name is. If you follow him on Twitter, he actually has very like insightful tweets on like the hip hop, or like what's going on in hip hop, and the negativity that's going on in hip hop. And I didn't pay attention to the guy because his single is pretty ignorant himself or itself, but there is some music that's I mean he's a very articulate guy on Twitter. If you do follow him, the latest thing he did say was he was talking about Future, saying that if you rap about drugs and call girls hoes and wear Supreme, you'll make it as a rapper. Like, we glorify all the negativity that's in hip hop, and I would have to say that's true. Like, I think we get a bad rap in hip hop because all we show are the negative aspects of hip hop. We only show the girls shaking their butts and the cars and the clothes and the jewelry, and that's not really all that hip hop has to offer. If we go back to the '90s, we had all that glorification, but we also had some Talib Kweli, we had Tribe Called Quest, we had Wu-Tang, we had all these artists that, I mean, you see both sides of the story. So when you say Kendrick Lamar is bad for hip hop, you're only seeing that one part, and you're not looking at like the underground. Well, I don't want to call it underground because these artists should get their due. They just don't get played on the radio. I'm talking about the Sky Zoos of the world, the Sean Prices of the world, the Yasin Beys or Most Defs of the world, the Joey Badasses of the world. These guys, the new guys is, I mean, they don't. I feel like they don't need the whole like, the whole mainstream act. Like, they don't have to be signed to Universal to make music. Like, Chance the Rapper doesn't have to be signed to a huge record label to be one of the major acts at Pitchfork. Like, Chance and Vic Mensa. Well, Vic Mensa just signed to Rock Nation, but like, these guys who are out there putting out good, positive music don't get heard on the radio, and then when we look at listen to the radio and all we hear are blanks because of there's so many cuss words coming out of the rapper's mouth, of course they're gonna look at it as something that's very negative. And in OG Mako's case, he was talking about Future and his run with the different mixtapes he's putting out into his album, and he's just talking about how like being a drug addict isn't cool, while Future's talking about taking 50 Xanaxes or whatever type of pills he's taking and making it sound like it's the coolest thing ever. Like, I'm just gonna be high and be like rich and stuff. But like, normal people like myself aren't gonna be like, I'm gonna pop this pill and go to the club and be happy, and then come back home and I still have the problems that I still have. Like, I'm not the richest person ever. I'm not it's just the common folk listen to this and look at it and say, hey, that could be me. And if I take 50 Xanaxes or if I take these pills, then I'm going to be just like Future, when that's never the case. It's usually people are overdosing. And I mean, even the rappers are overdosing on drugs. When you have like Pimp C and all these other rappers who've died over the past years because of drugs, ASAP Yams. So, I mean, when you look at hip-hop, don't listen to it in one way and think it's this only way when there's so much around hip-hop. There's 5 elements of hip-hop, and if you want to know hip-hop before you judge it, get to know every aspect of it. Last but not least, Amazon Prime is having a Prime Day on the 15th. If you're a Prime customer, or if you have a Prime subscription, there's going to be like a bigger sale than, I guess, Black Friday. But there may be an underlying meaning to this. There's actually a competitor named Jet.com who also does like a subscription service. It's $50 to subscribe to this place where you can get major discounts on things that Amazon buys, and they have free shipping and things like that too. So I don't know exactly when they launch, but if you go to jet.com right now, you can actually ask for an invitation, and once they give you an invitation, you have free reign to actually look at the products that they sell. So I don't know if Amazon's doing this to gain more customers before Jet takes their customers away, but it's a good deal, I guess. Prime Day, I'm going to be on Amazon that day to see what they have. So Prime Day is the 15th. And I guess that's it. That's all I have for Majestic News right now. Keep tuned. We'll be doing this every week. Please hit me up on www.majestic.com and leave something in the comment section. Thank you.